What's up, Otters? Today I'm going to discuss how to scale your business from $100,000 a year to $100,000 a month. That sounds crazy, right, guys? My name is Scott Bartnick. I've scaled multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, and today I want to help you. So one of the big things that you need to do when you're scaling your business is figure out where your bottlenecks are. And for a lot of companies that are at that $100,000 point, it's really focused around usually a solo entrepreneur or a team of two. And so you're probably wearing many hats, and your bottleneck is probably your team. You probably need to add more team members. The easiest way to do that is to figure out what you're spending the majority of your time on and start either A, automating, or B, hiring. So I know for me, one of the biggest things that when I started off was actually the service itself. A lot of people think that it's very hard to outsource your service, but it's really not. You just need to recruit properly. So I like to use the example of a website development company. So if you're doing sales, if you're doing accounting, if you're actually implementing the website design, you're talking to clients, obviously you can't scale that to $1 million a year unless you're charging ridiculous rates for your websites, because you can probably only do a couple per month. So the best thing to do is, if you're spending the majority of your time actually developing that website, you need to find someone who can help develop websites with you. So there's a couple of tricks on how to hire the best talent, and I'll go into videos later on that. But really, you just want to focus on someone that has a very specific skill set that's going to improve on what you're wasting or spending the majority of your time on. Again, this is that 80-20 rule where really you just need to double down on what's working for you and get help. So the next big step in scaling is being able to make sure that you're able to train that new hire in a level that's going to exceed expectations, potentially even be better than what you can do. I always like to hire people that I think are better than me in very specific tasks. It's hard as a business owner to hire someone that can do all 100 things that you're doing. That's pretty much impossible, because that's why you own the business and you run it. But to find someone that is really, really good at graphic design, or really good at video editing, or really good at landing page development, that part's a little bit easier. So focus on, again, that percent that you're spending way too much time on, and really figure out how to bring in talent that's going to not only free up your time, but improve the level of your service. All right, guys. So this was a really short video on just simple tips on how to outsource part of that. So let's go over different models of that. So obviously there's hiring a 1099 contractor, where you can do something like recruit on Indeed.com, put a job post out there, and look for someone to do part-time or kind of a contractor per project. Then you have that W-2 model, which is that full-time employee who's going to kind of be 24/7 working for your team, or 40 hours a week, whatever you guys work out. But yeah, so that W-2 will be a little bit more dedicated to you, and they'll be less project-based, which is great when you're really trying to scale your team. But maybe starting off, you want to I always recommend potentially starting with that 1099 contractor model. That way you can kind of figure out taxes a little bit easier. You can scale a little bit quicker. You're less kind of tied to overhead from that. And then once you have that success, offer them that W-2 position and get them kind of going longer. Gives you ability to work on multiple projects at the same time and scale from there. Past that, there's other options as well. If you're a smaller business, is looking at freelancers, things like Upwork.com and Fiverr. That way you can bring someone in and try them out and make sure that you're able to train them and get them up to speed. This is really good for smaller businesses. When you're really trying to scale to that $1 million point, it's hard to run $1 million of service off of Fiverr or Upwork and kind of just give these little projects away, because the quality is going to be diminished. You won't be able to control the process as much, and you're really relying on people that you haven't had that interaction with. What I found is the best result is actually hiring a local team, people that you get to meet face to face, you can sit down in a room with and train and help get them up to speed, and that way you can figure out what's working and what's not working. The next step there with hiring is really focusing on project management. So we use Asana at AutoPR, and Asana is a project management tool. There's a whole bunch. I'm not referring to the specific one. Monday.com is another one that I've heard of. But really what it does is it helps you stay organized, and it helps give clear priorities to your team members. One of the worst things you can do is waste time and talent of your new hires. And that's very common when people come in and they don't have clear direction. So they'll spend hours working on something that you would have only spent 2 minutes on because it's just not that important. So you need to clearly outline what's important. So I hope that'll help you hire impactful people that'll help you reduce your workload and give you more time to focus on what matters, actually growing the business. Guys, if you have any questions, reach out at any time at otterpr.com. Thank you.